Okay, let's talk alpha mats. We learned a little bit about Luma mats. If you haven't watched that, go watch it. Alpha mats you'll probably use more often, to be honest. Um, let's play around with one probably use of it. I just took this random political logo. I think it's an Obama thing. I don't really know, to be honest. I'm gonna set this up like I'm gonna do a little animation with it, right? So I'm gonna put that over there. I'm gonna make some text that says politics, and I will frame this in the scene. My paragraph's there. Do I not have character stuff, or is it hiding? Where's my character stuff? It's gone. It's there. Okay. I'll bring this down. I'm going to center the anchor point. Transform, center anchor point. And we'll kind of just frame this in our scene. I'm going to go to align it dead center, and then I'll shift it over. And then I'm going to do U, dead center, shift U over. Okay, so the goal that I'm going to use the track mat for is I want to have this shoot out from my logo, but not be seen when it's over here, right? So I want it to disappear. I want it to start out behind it, not see this, and shoot out, right? So how do we do that? We use an alpha mat. Alpha mat, we talked a little bit in class about how it's kind of like an invisibility cloak. Whenever this intercedes with the layer, it either hides it or reveals it, depending on if you're using an inverted alpha mat or a standard alpha mat. So we can do this. I'm going to use my pen tool. I'm going to kind of draw along as best I can this edge because I want this to hide it. I don't want a stroke. Get out of here. Sorry, everything flies off screen here. So I'm going to, essentially what I want is I want a shape or an object that pretty much lines up right with this guy. It doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to put this behind this anyway. And to be honest, I don't even really need this to be perfect. I could do this just straight down the middle because this logo is going to cover it up anyway. So let's just do that way. That might be even easier. Let me redo what I did. Control Shift Z. Okay, I'm going to delete this for now. Let's just do an easier one. I'm going to create a shape that's just this. Okay. So the goal is, I'm going to put politics ahead of it, that whenever politics intersects with this red shape, it either hides it or reveals it. Okay, so I have my politics. The track mats all work the same in that either alpha or Luma, it always is going to look at the layer directly above it to take its cues from it, right? So if I want to put the object that's going to be either revealing or hiding the layer above it because I want this to stay. And when you do that, when you select it, it hides the layer above it because it's just using this as a reference. So you always put the layer you want to be revealed, whether it's text or whatever, below the layer that you're using to hide it or reveal it. So I'll take politics. I'm going to select alpha inverted because I want it to be hidden when it's outside of it. If I wanted to, I could select alpha mat, but I would have to take my layer and bring it to over on this side. Standard alpha mat will show the layer. If we have alpha mat selected, it'll only show the layer when it intersects with it. Alpha mat inverted hides the layer when it intersects with it. So let me go back and reset this. So keep an eye on shape layer 1. I'm just going to rename this to mat or alpha mat so it's easier. So they're both, the eyedropper is both there so we can see both of them. But when I select my alpha inverted, again, we're selecting inverted because it hides it when they intersect, which is what I want. I want it to be hidden when it's over here. Select this alpha inverted mat. When I do that, it hides this layer automatically, right? Because now it knows, oh, you want to do a mat, we're going to take reference from the layer above it, and we know we're not going to want to see it, so we hide it, right? So it doesn't matter like what color this is or anything like that. It's going to get hidden. So now, if I wanted to, I could do my move, right? I could do a position move where we start back here behind our layer, right? And I have this above my logo, so if I put my logo at the top, what's going to hide it? It's behind it, right? So you can see it behind it. And I easy ease these. Now we got that, which is pretty sweet, right? Add some motion blur to this, and we'll loop it so you can see what it's going to look like. Right? Pretty cool. So there's a lot of examples of, there's a lot of times that these alpha mats will come in handy. Particularly, let's say we want to animate the inside of this, right? Well, if I wanted to cut this up, I could select this and I could cut out each of these pieces, right? If I want to animate this layer. Bottom red. I'm going to do the same thing we did before. I'm going to duplicate it, get rid of any masks, and then I'll cut out this white part. You only need 2 clicks, and then you can use the Bezier lines to adjust to get what you need. All right? Let the pen do the work. If you're getting frustrated with the pen tool, there's a whole video specifically on mastering the pen tool. Okay, there's my white. Bottom white. I'll duplicate that. I'll delete the mask so we can start fresh. I'll get the middle one in. Oops. Gotta be as precise as we can here. And I'll show you, even if it's not perfect, how we can fake it so it looks perfect. Right? We'll do that when we're done here. Okay, middle red, mid red. We will duplicate. We will delete the mask to start fresh. We'll do the white. This gets tedious, but I'm telling you, man, this is if you can get this stuff down, you can do a lot of cool stuff knowing this. You can do a lot of really nice work for people quickly once you get this down. Okay, so there's my top white. Top white. Same thing, duplicate, get rid of the mask so we can start fresh. I'll do the top red. I didn't intend on going completely through this, but I think it'll be good to show you how to use many track mats and alpha mats to get this to look really good. Okay, drag these curves to line that up. Okay, cool. Duplicate that again. That was top red, top red. And this one, we'll get rid of our mask. And for this part, we might as well just create that from scratch, to be honest. I mean, we could cut that out if we want, but I don't know if we necessarily need to. We could just as easily create the shapes ourselves. So if I go to ellipse, and when I'm making my thing, if I hold shift and control on a PC, it'll scale it uniformly and from the center point. It looks like we have a full blue circle, so I'll just line this up as close as I can. It's about right. And this is going to be blue, so I'm going to hide this for now. Take my fill, eyedrop to the blue. So blue circle. I'm going to bring that back up. I'm going to put it underneath this top one so we can see it again. And I'm going to duplicate that, bring it above it, and we're going to shrink that down, go into my path, And we're going to want to do two things. We're going to make our fill white because that's what color the next one is. And we're going to bring our size down to kind of match where that is, right? Okay, pretty close. Okay, cool. So now we've got our white circle. So I didn't mask everything out because it's just as easy to create that ourselves. So I'm going to get rid of this. Actually, I'm going to rename this master, and I'm going to hide it just in case we need it later. Put that on the bottom. So I've got my white and my blue, and that is all going to go behind all these other layers. Boom. Okay, looks good. So if we zoom in, though, you can see maybe our blue is a little bit too big or it needs to move around a little bit. So let's adjust that. Let's go to my blue circle, and it looks like I'm going to hit UU to bring up everything I've changed. I'm going to kick the size down just a hair. Right there. And then I'm going to arrow over and kind of move it into a better place. That looks good. Okay. So now, all these, I can animate these independently, right? Like I can move this wherever I want. Looks good. Right? So, let's hide all of our stripes and focus on these for now. Let's do a quick scale with these. I will select, I'm going to go to my scale, do a quick move. Like a 30 keyframe move, holding shift, page down, 1, 2, 3, that's 30 keyframes. I'll set that there, that's at 100%. We'll animate backwards, we'll go to 0. Kind of making this quick because this should be relatively simple at this point. So I'm going from 0 to, oh, I done messed up. I need to recenter these, so transform, anchor point and center. And then when it goes down from there, it'll go center. Okay, so I just have a quick move. I'm going to add motion blur to all this good stuff. And I'm going to easy ease this. Okay, very simple move. I'm going to hide my texture really quick too. We just want to focus on this. Okay, that's my move. I'm going to offset these a little bit. So I'm going to have my white start a little later. Maybe 2 frames later. So it does, maybe that's not enough. Still not enough. What if I have them end at the same time? What does that look like? What if I make this way more drastic? I think I need one thing of overshooting. I'm going to undo this back to line these back up. I think I'm going to take this to 115%. We're going to overshoot it by 15. And we're going to come back down to 100. So it's just going to be one. It's going to overshoot it and come back down. Maybe that's a little too slow. I think the beginning part needs to be faster. Okay, my computer hates me, clearly. Maybe just a little bit slower on the back end. Okay, that looks good. So now, if I offset these, what happens? Does it still look dumb? No, I think that looks cool. Okay, that's nice. Okay, we got our white and blue circles done. Now, let's talk about these guys, and this is where our alpha matte comes in. I'm just going to enable these. Let's just do them one at a time. Let's focus on bottom red. I don't want this bottom red to come out here because that would look stupid. I want this, when it goes outside of the circle, to disappear, right? So the way we could do that is we can use this blue circle as our alpha matte, which is already animated and done, right? So if I hit D and bring that blue circle above my bottom red layer, because again, it's got to be above the layer to reference it. Bring up my toggle switches so I can see my track matte layers and select alpha inverted matte. Now, oops, I'm sorry. This one's just going to be, since I want it to show when it intersects, not hide it when it intersects, we're going to select just regular alpha matte. Okay, so now when this comes up, it'll reveal that red part when it intersects, right? Well, these layers aren't going to really start until later down the road. So let's just duplicate this and add these alpha layers we're going to have to duplicate this a bunch of times. So duplicate the blue circle, add my alpha matte, duplicate my blue circle, add my alpha matte, duplicate my blue circle, and add my alpha matte. And then one last one. Oops. Add my alpha matte. Okay. I had these all hidden, so I'm just going to go back and turn all these layers back on so we can see them. So the cool part now is, though, when I can animate these things and when I take them outside, they disappear, right? They only appear when they're inside this blue circle. So I'm going to go till when these settle down. I'm going to hit U to see that. So it's at this spot here. And this is where I'm going to want those other layers to come in. So I'm going to take all these guys and I'm going to hit left bracket and that'll slide them all over here. And now I'm going to animate them all in. So keep in mind, though, to have this work, you know what I can do to all these blue circles. All I really want these, I just want these at 100%. So I'm just going to get rid of the keyframes that were on here. Just set these all to 100%. Because I don't need my alpha matte to be, or the layer that my alpha is looking at. I don't need it to do all the scaling up and down stuff. I just want its endpoint because that's where these are going to come in. So they pop in here. Keep in mind, let's just focus on my bottom red here. Keep in mind the layer that it references, it has to be live, meaning this has to be your layer has to be live above it when it's referencing it. If this is chopped right here, it's not going to see it because it's referencing what it's referencing above it. There's nothing there. Okay. So that being said, let's kick all the other ones back on and let's animate them really quick. Let's do just a basic position move. I'm going to grab them all. I'm going to hit P, start my keyframe as I deselect them. I didn't mean to do that. Good Lord. Sometimes this program, I swear. I hit P, create a keyframe. We'll go 20 keyframes forward. Let's do another keyframe. This is where I want them to end, so we'll animate backwards. And I'm just going to kind of hand pull these down here in various, just so they're roughly the same spot. They don't have to be particular. We're not doing this to be super perfect. I just want to show you proof of what it's going to look like. Right, and then maybe we can, again, these are all kind of linked, so if you're going to move one, you want to move them both. So I'll maybe move these back a few keyframes. Oops. Maybe move these back a few keyframes, just kind of stagger this animation out a little bit. I have no idea what this will look like, but we'll figure it out. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Okay, kind of cool. It looks like our ending point looks like we need to draw this a little bit better with our pencil, but you get the idea. Far away, you won't be able to tell. So now we have our thing animating here. I can turn back my politics, turn that back on, and I maybe want to start that sliding once these guys come in. So I'm going to take my politics and my alpha matte for my politics and slide those over. And there's my whole thing. Maybe we'll pretty this up while we're doing it. We'll do a solid, name it BG, bring it to the bottom. Let's do something a little bit different. Let's do a, if I type in gradient, 4-color gradient. Let's pull some of these colors. Pull this blue, pull this red, pull this white. We'll do another one that's blue. And maybe just make these real light, like a real faint red, real faint blue, and maybe a little bit darker blue maybe. We'll change our color of politics to maybe the blue. That looks pretty sweet. If I go back to my BG, I think we can blend this too. Yeah, we can turn our blend Gonna blend those closer together just so they're a little more feathered. Okay, so now you can see that these are obviously only visible when they intersect with our alpha matte, which is our blue circle, right? So there's probably some cleanup in there to do, but you get for the proof of concept there. And then our politics, our alpha matte for that here, if I show it, hides everything when it goes intersects with this red guy. So you can see it intersecting back here, this being my text box, hides it, which is exactly what we want to do. Awesome. Okay, I think that's everything. If you haven't watched the